All right, so this is a crossover, four-way crossover. Yes, this is a four-way crossover that was on my Patreon. That was a poll on my Patreon, and this one won by a fucking landslide. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a four-way crossover between Supernatural, Men in Black, Ghostbusters, and X-Files. Yep, God help me. Now, couple things before we get into it. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. And actually, I'm going to do a separate video talking about like some updates coming to Patreon real soon. So be prepared for that. But if you real quick, if you want to just be part of polls, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the first tier, where you guys can be a part of polls for here on for that affect videos here on YouTube, as well as check out movie reviews. But yeah, if you just want to do polls and movie reviews, there you go. Speaking of movie reviews, real quick, I just had not only my Haunted Mansion review up on there, but also my review for Shin Kamen Rider is posted up there. So if you want to check out my thoughts on Shin Kamen Rider, go check that out. Hit the first tier. But anyway, so let's get started with the video. So this four-way crossover is, like I said, Men in Black, Supernatural, Ghostbusters, and X-Files. So the story begins with a massive ship crash landing outside of just outside of New York. Well, the state, not the city. Basically, they've crashed outside, out in Buffalo, right outside Buffalo. They're like right on the Canadian border, and this massive ship got the attention of some travelers who call it in, and the Ghostbusters are brought in. However, that ship also caught the attention of the Men in Black. Their organization was already aware of what was going on. See, they got caught unaware by the ship falling out of the sky. Like, they were already aware of this unidentified craft, and they're like, that's no ship on our record. Zeb, can you pull that up? Twins, can you pull that up? And for reference, this is J and K. Let's just say, yeah, it's J and K for agents. But Zed is just kind of looking at it, and he's like, that ship is not on our record. It was probably deep in our archives, because we have all ships recorded. So J and K are sent to the crash site in the meantime. The Ghostbusters got called because the people watching were like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this, let's just call the Ghostbusters. So the Ghostbusters are like, okay, aliens. Like, Venkman's already like, alright, aliens. That's a thing we're dealing with now. We're gonna have to charge extra. Do we have an alien bonus here, guys? So they all go. While this is going on, the beings from that ship have already escaped. They have already, escaped into the city of Buffalo. And these beings, we're going to talk about them in a bit, but more or less, those beings have been start plaguing the city, like the nearby town. Like, they're taking control of people, they're manipulating others, and feeding off of emotions. Of course, this crash site also attracted the FBI, and the FBI and Mulder and Scully are there on the scene, just as that. Well, they're not on the scene yet. They're headed up to the scene when they run in. They see several lights out in the forest as they're driving along. They see several lights, so Mulder and Scully pull over, thinking this is connected, and sure enough, it is, because guess who's in the middle of fighting these aliens? Sam and Dean. So yeah, Sam and Dean were also caught unaware by this alien crash site, and Dean wanted to go. Dean convinced Sam, was like, oh, we're gonna actually see aliens for the first time. This is gonna be amazing. So Sam and Dean meet Mulder and Scully, and they encounter these aliens. And it turns out at first, the Winchesters thought that these were ghosts, because these aliens are spectral in nature. In fact, what's discovered is that when the Men in Black arrive, just as the Ghostbusters are, because they're just like, we don't know what we're doing. And Egon, however, is just all excited. But that's when the Men in Black arrive, and they're like, excuse me, gentlemen, we'll be taking over the site from here. And they're like, let's see some ID. Oh, if you look right here, you will see ID. However, what happens, rather than get their mind wiped, Slimer comes in and eats it. Like, Slimer just comes flying in and eats the neutralizer. And they're like, and Jay's already like, damn, you bring that little, you got a flying green turd hanging out with you. And Venkman's like, yeah, it's like our mascot, it's cool. And they're like, you want to tell us who you are? It was like, we are part of a secret government organization. That's all you need to know, gentlemen. It's classified, and we are looking into this alien situation. They're not and as I recall, you guys fight ghosts, right? And Jay's just like, ghosts. And he's like, and Venkman's like, did you not see? Like, you look like a New York boy to begin with. Did you not see Gozer or, Vigo? Did you not see those? Were you too young for that? And he's like, I just saw lights in the sky and light shows. I'm just saying, like, I'm not calling you guys liars, but if the shoe fits, you gotta wear it. So, and Venkman's like, and Ray is just like, unbelievable. Why is it every time, like, why does everyone think that we're not actually, people saw it, right? And Egon's whole thing is like, people tend to believe, can only believe what they saw. And Venkman goes, yeah, and everyone saw ghosts. But that's neither here nor there, because Zed just calls in J and K and says, we got some bad news. Turns out the twins pulled up the file on these extraterrestrials, and it's not good. Turns out that these are a race of an alien race that were a race of conquerors. They were known as Spectorians, and Spectorians are aliens with ghost-like abilities. They basically are a race of a warrior race, not warrior race, but they're a race of conquerors. And what happened was their planet got dragged into a black hole, so they had a migrant fleet out in the galaxy looking for a new place to call home. It was apparently that this ship was a scout ship and essentially was going to send a message to the rest of the fleet to come take over the Earth and make it a new home planet. But they got hit by a solar flare and crash landed on Earth. However, if they reach out to the fleet, it's a war that the human race can't win. And of course, the Ghostbusters are like, oh, alien ghosts. Well, I guess we are useful after all. While this is going on, Sam and Dean, along with Mulder and Scully, they pack into the car, and Dean explains, like, what you saw were ghosts. And he's like, what are you, FBI agent? And Scully, of course, is like, there's no way that was ghosts. That could have been just, illusions or something. And he's like, ma'am, like, Dean's like, look, lady, I don't know what you believe or not, and I don't really give a shit what you believe, but those were ghosts. And Mulder says, no, those were probably aliens. And he's like, look, I don't care what you guys say. So they're having a disagreement, but they're all headed to the same site of a ship. So they go out, and it's about this point where the Ghostbusters and J and K are also, like, trading notes and trying to figure out what to do, because the spectrum of these aliens are now, like, some of them did get off like, from the crash site and are looking to control people in a nearby town to build a radio signal in order to call the migrant fleet. So by this point, all four parties team up. Like, they all meet because the Ghostbusters, along with J and K, run into mind-controlled civilians. So they have to, like, fall back, and that leads to them meeting Mulder, Scully, and Sam and Dean. And all the groups are like, they all meet, and Venkman's like, oh, more people, more government buffoons. And Mulder's like, you guys are not J and K. We've never heard of this organization you're a part of. And he's like, well, it's super secret. It's a secret, it's a secret organization within a secret organization. That's all you need to know right now. So by then, all four parties unite because they are the only line of defense to keep an alien race from getting to them. Now, the thing is like, obviously Mulder and Scully's guns don't work, and the aliens can just phase through, most of the weaponry that J and K have. So it's really the Ghostbusters and the Winchesters who have weapons that can, in theory, since they're so close to ghosts, can bind them and capture them. And sure enough, that's what happens when they run into the ghosts who are about to turn on the signal. They manage to Sam and Dean use a binding spell to trap them, and then the Ghostbusters pull them all into the ghost trap, which is then confiscated by by J and K. And K is just like, well, this is K is just like, this is a great moment, and I wish we had our neuralizer for this moment. Jay's like, I got you. Hey guys, how about you guys want to take a selfie? Hang on, I got a new camera. It's right here. And they all mind wipe the Ghostbusters, Mulder and Scully, and the Winchesters. They basically say, like, J and K, they keep the story because there are, like, well, they're Ghostbusters, they're X-Files guys, and they're people from the FBI, and they're people who obviously deal in the occult. So we'll let them think that they won, and we were just watching. Like, we weren't there, and we just came on the scene. So they give them the story that they were the ones who stopped them, and J and K just arrived. So, yeah. So there you go, guys. That is the three-way crossover. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? And once again, thank you all for those who voted on my Patreon. Like I said, if you'd like to join my Patreon and just check out polls as well as movie reviews, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon. You guys get the first tier. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.